It's a bit blowy even in the corner of the bowling club here by the village green in Wigtown, where I am on my long weekend writers workshop. It's a great privilege, honestly, to be hanging out with three published and accomplished authors who know about writing and about getting your book published. Robert Twigger has written and published 17 books now, I believe, mostly travel. And also I'm here in particular because of the bookshop, which is owned and run by Shaun Bythell, Bythell. And I first came across him through his book Diary of a Bookseller, which I read actually 9 years ago, or 8 years ago, and that was his first book. And it has been absolutely fascinating to hear from the horse's mouth, so to speak, about its conception, its origin, its chaotic start, the multiple drafts. And I asked him, well, if it's a diary, how on earth can you do multiple? I think he talked about his agent and editor made him do 5 drafts of his first book, and which put the wind up me, because I'm naive enough to think that my diary, as is written, and I have edited very, very little from my handwritten notes from 2016 to 2019, when I moved to Bakewell to meditate with John Butler. And I'm thinking, well, it's finished. In fact, I've printed out 10 copies to bring with me, with the intention of hopefully, I referred to talking about it with Shaun yesterday. I asked him to be my Trojan horse. He wasn't very impressed being a Trojan horse, and not surprisingly, but I think he will be kind enough. He's promised me that he won't read it all, but he will, when he gets time, dip into it. And that's all I ask, really, because really my hope is that he will find in it something sufficiently readable and interesting, fascinating, one hopes, to refer it or recommend it to his agent, who might then take it up. We'll see. That's possibly jumping the gun now. There are 11 of us on the course, from screenwriters to memoir writers. There's one lovely man, Bill, from I think Melrose, and he is writing a book about a river, and I can't even remember the name of the river, which is a shame. It might be the River Tay, but anyway, he's a very keen canoeer. Now, if you know you canoe from your kayak, what most people refer to as a canoe that you'll see on rivers or even on the sea are those fiberglass, multicoloured, modern canoes, but they're actually called kayaks. And I kayaked on the River Wye many summers when I was a teenager, my dad's school summer camp. And Bill has been canoeing, which is like the Indian style paddle boat, proper canoe. And he's written a story about the river, which I'd be very interested to read, actually, and the connections its 400 million year history. Anyway, it's a great privilege and a great encouragement to be sat rubbing elbows, shoulders and pens with other bona fide writers or aspiring writers. And I would say the common denominator for all of us is it's bloody hard work. But enormously rewarding once you've seen your book concept and put in the hours and done the editing and hopefully get it out there, either published or self-published. And so persevere, my friends, is the message there. Turns out there's quite a lot of history in this Dumfries town of Wigtown. It became Scotland's national book town in 1998, I think. There's a plaque celebrating the opening of it, and there are now 12 bookshops in this lovely tiny little village town with its French style town hall, or mairie, but it's also got the Covenant and Martyrs. And I've just learned a little bit about this, and I'll say a little bit. I've done another little video where they were martyred, and I've discovered that they were both called Margaret. One Margaret was 63 and the other Margaret was just 18. And they were condemned by the judge. We visited the judge's house this morning. And basically it was a religious dispute because the English Stuart king of the time in the 17th century, I don't know which one it was, proclaimed himself head of the church, and the Covenanters said, no, Jesus is the head of the church, which is what it says in the scriptures. And they did not recant, and they were sentenced to they were tied to I believe a stone stake on the edge of the estuary, and until the tide came in and they drowned, which is a horrendous in itself is a horrendous thing to do for any cause, let alone just disagreeing with who's the head of the church. Oh, anyway, it's quite distressing actually to contemplate that. And as you'll discover, or you've already discovered, I've made a little video about what you or I may consider we would be prepared to die for, which in my case is very nothing except for some very important people in my life. Sobering. So Wigtown has got quite a radical background. Lots of local writers actually, and you'll have to forgive me because I can't remember the name of a local famous writer from, I think, the 19th century. He wrote books about like the ploughman. I'm staying in a B&B, and the name of my room is actually the title of one of his books, something like The Galloway Ploughman, something like that. And it's quite famous apparently. But he was just an ordinary sort of farmhand, but wrote 40 books, and he's extremely well known in these parts. We're in a part of Scotland called Dumfries and Galloway, and it was a very poor area, and one of the books that he wrote was about the ordinary everyday hardships of let's call them farm labourers and the terrible conditions, and it created quite a political storm and led to the improvement of conditions. And you see, writing does have its effect And that's one of the things that we have been inspired by on this Writers Workshop course. Books and writing and screenplays, they do have benefits to the viewer or the reader, because it's all about changing one's ideas about the world. And I'll just touch on one that we covered yesterday. Is the world a safe place or an unjust place? You can go and think about that and come up with a topic for a book or a screenplay. This is the man himself. Is that a decent pen this time?
It is this. I've chosen one specially for you.
Well, thank you. And this is the world headquarters. Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Well, on my side anyway, perhaps not on yours. Thank you very much. And if you'd be kind enough to take your normal place as if you were writing up. This is about me, of course.
I already have this morning, actually.
This is
I
where...
can't say what I've written though. Right.
Is this where all your books have started?
More or less, not on this computer. I've changed the computer, but yeah, on this monitor. Right. Well, to fill and oops. Right.
Right, we're sorted. How delightful. Oh, I need to pay for the book.
Yeah. Well, you haven't seen what I've written in it yet, so you gave me a copy of yours, you can have that.
Oh, my friend, I appreciate you very much.
It's been a real pleasure.